can also go to the Real Keys page on YouTube. You can go to Keith's Facebook. You can go to Live and Life YouTube and you can see this podcast. So, how are you today?
Man, it's summertime. It's already arrived.
Oh my God! So we are episode 2 of the Real Keys with Keith Allen and Carlos G. We talk about living in the Florida Keys, real estate in Florida Keys. We're going to talk about coronavirus a little bit today and the effects on the market. And then I'll keep a couple of other things that Keith wanted to go over today. So, Keith, without further ado, why don't we start jumping right on the topics we wanted to talk today? So you addressed it. I have a little bit of a plan, but we can go on that, or we can start right where you feel today. What do you do?
Well, I'm ready for about anything, but something that I wanted to cover on one of our visits was sellers all the time ask me, what do I do to get myself ready to sell my home? And I'm going, well, it's as if you're preparing your home for yourself. What would you do when you just bought the house?
Yeah.
All the things that you would do for yourself, you want to do to prepare your house for sale. So many times a seller will say, oh, Keith, should I paint the house or should I replace the appliances? Well, I say you should have done it 6 months ago or a year ago, because you could have been enjoying those things that you did. Heck, you might not even sell a house.
Yeah.
But don't wait right up to you sell a house to bring it up. Bring it up and enjoy the house. Everything you do to the house is generally going to bring you back 2 to 3 times what you put into it. When people see deficiencies in a home, they see lack of maintenance, deferred maintenance. They see lack of pride and ownership. So if you have a light bulb out, change it. If you have a switch that's sticky, change it. If you have a corner bead in the stairwell, have your painter come over and paint it. All these little things are chinks in your armor when it comes to negotiation too.
Yeah. And buyers look at those little things and ding, 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 ding.
How many times have you heard a guy say or a lady say, well, it's going to cost me $200,000 to bring this house up? And I'm going, oh, you must be kidding me. Anything you can do to relieve a buyer's anxiety over the work that they're going to have to do is going to help you in the negotiation. It's going to bring more value to the property. I can't emphasize enough, though, why do all these wonderful things for the next person when you should have done them for yourself
while you're there?
Yeah. Enjoy them, because the time that you spend there is just as important as when you sell.
Yeah. And this is especially important now because, let's talk a little bit about how do you see the coronavirus keep impacting our market down here in Florida Keys? What are you hearing from your buyers, from people that are looking at the market? Because it's getting a little more now. The media is obviously hyping this. What do you see happening for the market?
Well, I'm no expert, but I am an expert on South Florida tourism and real estate and vacations and the quality of life, living the Real Keys lifestyle. We haven't gotten to the bottom of the research that needs to be done, I don't think, to determine what course of action we're going to ultimately take in this fight against the coronavirus. I think most people have been watching the news and they're hearing from the healthcare professionals that say, treat the coronavirus in the same way that you would influenza, because wash your hands, pick up after yourself, avoid crowded situations, and most of all, take care of your elderly and your people in your family and in your sphere of influence and your circle of influence that do have weaker immune systems. But overall in South Florida, I am seeing buyers back away a little bit because they're concerned about the tourism industry. But I have a different take on that. I think in South Florida and in the resort communities across America that you can drive to, I think this year is going to be a big year, because I don't believe that a lot of tourists are going to hop on the cruise ships or hop on the airplanes. what are they going to do? They're going to hop in the car.
Quick drive.
They're going to drive down to Florida or drive to Myrtle Beach or drive to Tiki Island outside of Houston or wherever they can go to the desert in Palm Springs, places that they can get to without having to use mass transit. That's going to be, I think, one of the saving graces for the tourism industry this year, because me personally, I'm not really excited about the idea of climbing on board an airline.
I'm not going anywhere.
Or a cruise ship, or going to a major sporting event where there's 50,000 people coughing and sneezing all over the place. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, I would come to Florida Keys, give me a call, and we'll find you a nice little house right on the ocean where the breeze brings fresh air in and out,
beautiful,
24/7, and you can find your little place with your back to the world and enjoy the Florida Keys.
and enjoy the Keys, right? Yeah, that makes total sense. People are just, especially coming up here in spring, they're just going to drive, and that bodes well for the local businesses here in the Keys. So I think people should be, I don't want to say excited, but people are going to drive here instead of flying, and
People laugh when I say, yep, this is one of the few places in the United States that takes 2 airplanes and a car ride to get to.
That's true.
Whatever that loop is that you're taking to get down here, and then on top of it, you're still going to have another couple hours in the car. But once you get here and the stress level goes, just like that. We talk about that all the time, hopping on the 18-mile stretch, and all of a sudden the world's troubles are all behind you.
Yes.
Come on down to the Florida Keys and live the island life.
Knock on wood. Hopefully we're not going to see any of these coronavirus here in the Keys, but we're far removed from all of that, and it's just a wonderful thing. Kit, let's touch on something now for the folks that are interested in the Keys. Something that happens every year, and it just happened, and I know you've probably seen 20 of those, right? Or since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
Describe a little bit, what is the gigantic, they call it, the gigantic nautical flea market, which is across the street from where we are in Founders Park.
I'm pretty sure it's sponsored by the Rotary. And it is one of the biggest events in the Upper Keys, if not Islamorada and Tavernier. It's a double-edged sword. For the locals, it can be a pain in the neck because it is a traffic blocker.
Yes.
Oh, man, people come down here from all over the Southeast, and anybody that's on vacation is going to go in there. And you can pick up anything that you can pick up at any flea market in America. Plus, you get some nice Keysy things, things that you wouldn't ordinarily find on the mainland. But if you're planning on attending the nautical flea market, give yourself an extra hour or 2 to get there, to park, bring comfortable walking shoes, and by all means, bring sun protection and a big hat, because we are in the tropics. You will get sunburn, as you can see. I'm fair-skinned.
Yeah.
You try not to get sun here. If you're trying to get sun, be careful. But you can get food, entertainment, nautical equipment, boating things.
Yeah.
Best deals online for your boats, fenders, that odd-looking brass thing that you never knew where you could find. Well, it's going to be at that nautical flea market, because that's where people get things that nobody else knows where to look. And of course, you've got all the little knickknacks and the knife guy and the guy that has every tool under the sun in a plastic bin. But as far as traveling here, though, if you're in transit, if you've got to go to the airport on any one of the days of the flea market, please beware. It's going to take you an hour to get through Upper and Matacumbe and Plantation Key. And parking is going to be touchy.
And the flea market is on mile marker 87, right on Founders Park. So anywhere between 87 and Upper Keys and a little bit Sour Keys is going to be bumper to bumper, congested. It's a lot of people that come in. Yeah, do you know it's like
I don't know the actual number, but there's enough people to where they park them at the high school and put them in shuttle buses and come down. And of course, you'll see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cars parked along the old highway in the rooftop areas. It is one of the premier events that we have in the village, it's almost grown too big for its location. But it's a part of the way of life down here. We understand it.
Yeah.
It's like the president coming to town.
I love it. It's very interesting. Yeah. All right. Let's touch on two neighborhoods, Keith, that either in Lower Matacumbin or somewhere in South Alamorada that you're familiar with. Can we talk about those two that you think, maybe both related, maybe not water access, maybe not waterfront, that you think are good places for people coming into the Alamorada area to be looking at it?
Wow, that's almost,
there's many, but
yeah, that's almost too focused for me. I mean, when I start asking you questions about what you like, then I'll start to focus in on the neighborhoods that I think might fit your needs. If you want deep water, if you want quaintness, if you want 300 neighbors or you only want 38 neighbors. I mean, there's two neighborhoods like that in Lower Matacumbin. You got 300 and over 325 home sites in Port Antigua. It's a deed restricted community. It's kind of cookie cutter, but they do have some very unique homes. They have a homeowners park and a homeowners association and deed restrictions. You've got Tollgate Shores with approximately 38, 39 home sites. And that has a little private park. No formal homeowners association, but there is a park association. It's very private and reserved.
much smaller, yeah.
And the lot sizes are irregular. It's not cookie cutter at all. It's a little more pricey than Port Antigua. And then, of course, you have comparable neighborhoods like Safety Harbor that fall in between Tollgate and Port Antigua. And then, of course, if you go north to Plantation Key, Venetian Shores runs neck and neck with the top communities in Alamorada. And you can't discount Key Largo if you want to be closer to the city, closer to the mainland. If you want to be in Key Largo, you've got Key Largo Ocean Shores and Port Largo, Stillwright Point, Buccaneer Point, all these communities. And just because it doesn't have a named subdivision, they're little pocket neighborhoods that offer some really, really cool places, like this one right here, where you are.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what the name of, if there is a subdivision. Do you have
There's not a subdivision name. It's just
Plantation Lake Estates is what I always call
this is still considered Plantation Key.
Yeah. But we're right across the highway from Founders Park, which you have an Olympic-sized pool and water park and golf driving range, baseball field, soccer, boat ramp, yacht dockage, fuel, beach, and that's where all festivals are. Every now and then there's a food truck that comes in and out of there. And of course, our government center is right here in the middle of Plantation Key. The fire department is right here at mile marker 87. All of our services are close by. You've got a hospital that's just in short minutes on the next island up. We don't do without anything. I think I've said that before.
Yeah.
Everything you want here in the Keys is here, but not too much of it.
Not too much of it. And just touch about on this center area here around mile marker 87. The first year I was in the Keys, I lived in Key Largo, which was great. But now the second year, we just bought a house on this around mile marker 87. And it's a really cool area because you've got all these amenities across the street. Everything is here. Publix is 3 miles, boat ramp 2 miles. The best food in the Keys, QS and Alamorada, amazing. There's some in Key Largo too, but I'm so much closer to this area here. So anywhere Lower Alamorada, just a bit north of the Founders Park, it's a pretty prime location.
That's something you mentioned there, and sometimes people overlook it. Location. Depending on what type of water activities you have, depending on what kind of boat you have, it's very, very important to consider where you're going to be living, because if you're on the bayside in the middle of Key Largo, you've got a long ride to get out to the ocean. And if you're on the ocean side in Key Largo and you like to backcountry fish, you got a long ride to go through Pennicamp or Adams Cut to get out the bay. When you come down further south and you get into Plantation Key, you've got a couple of options now. You can go in and out of Tavernier Creek, which if your boat isn't too tall, I think it's 12 or 13 feet, but if you're down toward the south end of Plantation Key and Winley Key, you've got Snake Creek, where there's a full drawbridge there. So it goes up every hour, and you can get your big boats in and out of there. And then, of course, when you get down to Whale Harbor, that's a shallow bridge. And then, of course, when you get to the south end of Isla Morada, you've got the Channel 5 bridge, which is 65 feet, which is the highest fixed bridge in the Upper Keys, maybe in all the Keys. I think maybe Moser's Cut down on Channel 7 Mile Bridge is about the same, but that's where the real big boats go in, other than through the drawbridge. But picking your position, picking your spot is real important when you're picking your property, because you can't get under a bridge, you can't go out on your boat.
Yeah. This is like so many people know that bought houses far from the canal, and it's just, it takes.
That's why some houses are less expensive than others. You know, if all you can have is a runabout, that's all you can have.
That's all you can have, right?
You know, and then people talk about places that are less expensive in northern Key Largo. Well, if you've got to go through Pennicamp, sometimes that's a deterrent. If you've got to spend 30, 40 minutes at idle speed until you get out into the ocean. But for others, it is the most fantastic nature boat ride that they've ever experienced, because you're riding through gem clear water. You're seeing dolphin and manatee and all kinds of fish, and you might see a leopard ray jumping. There's all kinds of things that you see. Plus, people work a whole year just to come down and spend a week in Pennicamp. And you live right there, maybe in Winston Waterways or one of those neighborhoods around there. It's fantastic, and you're basically living in your own nature preserve on the edge of it. And of course, when you get there, you've got Rodriguez Key. My first experience in the Keys was spring break, and I came down with my buddy, and we drug a 21-foot day sailor down. His father had just taken a job in Miami, and Don Key was the new president of Mercy Hospital. So we come down to Miami on spring break. We went to East Carolina, by the way, for you pirate fans. I am a pirate from way back. But we came down, we picked up his parents' 21-foot day sailor. We drug it down to Pennicamp. We lost it, and we must have sailed around Rodriguez Key 5 times in a week. And we thought we were Pirates of the Caribbean. We were just North Carolina boys that had a ticket to come down here. And I'll tell you a little bit more story. Really, the linchpin that caused me to come to the Keys. We're out there fishing off the back of the sailboat, and he's in the water diving, and comes up with a lobster in his hand and says, "Look, look, look!" And I go, "Yeah, I got a fish on." We weren't paying attention to what was going on around us, and all of a sudden, I hear this voice: "Boys, you came a long way to get a ticket." And I go, "What?" And I looked around, and there's a Marine Patrol guy.
Wow!
And he said, "North Carolina," because there were North Carolina numbers on this little day sail.
Sure.
And he said, "Well, I don't see that you have a dive flag out." And we were pretty new at this, and we didn't have, he said, "You don't have a dive flag, and you're going to be in the water, you need to have a dive flag. So I need you to find something that's red to run up the halyard." Well, all I had was a pair of red gym shorts. I went downstairs, changed, put my gym shorts, and ran it up the halyard, ran it up the mast. And he said, "About that lobster, throw it back," because I'll pretty much bet if you didn't know about a dive flag, you know you had to have a license to catch a bug. And so he dropped the lobsters back in, and he said, "Listen, I want y'all to run back into the marina, get your lobster stamp, get your dive flag, and have a good time while you're down here on spring break." And I go, "Oh my God, that was the coolest policeman I've ever run across in my life." I said, "I'm moving here. I'm coming here. This is where I want to spend the rest of my life, because if this guy was nice enough to set us on the right course, we didn't give him any trouble, and he knew we were down here. We told him our story, and that was just, to me, I hope you don't mind, that was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had, even though it scared the bloody crap out of me." But
I mean, at that age, first time coming in, I mean,
18, 19 years old, and he let us off.
Everybody's low key in the Florida Keys. That's a great story, and I know exactly where Rodriguez Key is.
Oh yeah, we thought we might as well been in the Bahamas,
Yes.
and we were 5 minutes offshore.
And you know, there's actually a beautiful property across Rodriguez Key. What is it called? It's from Wendy. And you know that property. It's $10 million. Yeah. It's been for sale for a long time. But
Well, I think Rodriguez Keys for sale. It was.
it was?
Yes, I think it.
I didn't know it was
still
private.
for sale.
Oh,
There's nothing on it.
it's a beautiful spot. Beautiful spot. So, you know, for those of you, I don't know if you're on the Instagram, on the YouTube, on the Facebook, whatever you follow is, make sure you go and follow Keith Allen's account. Instagram is the Real Keys Keith. The YouTube is Keith Allen, The Real Keys. The Facebook is Keith Allen. Follow Live Vinyl Life. We broadcast every week. If you are interested in the Florida Keys, you're coming for vacation rentals, properties, real estate market, Keith has been living in the Florida Keys for almost 25 years, has been doing real estate for almost 25 years. He knows every pocket, every corner. He's been through every kind of real estate transaction and life, daily life situations that if you're a newcomer, you know, it's a really invaluable resource. So make sure you follow that. You know, Keith's phone number is 305-481-5544. It's on the screen. Keith, your email again is
RealKeys, RealKeys @bellsouth.net. And yes, March the 20th is my 25th anniversary in the business.
wow.
Worked for the same company all these years.
That is just incredible. I want to get down, Keith, to 2 listings that you have that I want to go over those listings real quick. If you want to put the address, tell me the address on they'll show on the screen. And we can talk about it. Could be any of the neighborhoods that you think are something that people should be able to look at.
Well, again, when we go back and we try to find a house for the right person, fit the house with the person, I've got a great oceanside house on Lower Matacumbe. That's oceanside. It's listed in the 8s. It's 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, split level. So it's like a mainland traditional home with a huge master bedroom. It's over 1,800 square feet.
Give me the address for that listing.
118 C Lane.
C Lane.
In Lower Matacumbe, it's about mile marker 76 on the ocean side.
Mm-hmm.
It also has a little garage apartment. You know, we talk about the conformities of that, but because it's pre-firm, it does have a 1-bedroom apartment on the ground floor. But there it is. It's a great house. It has lots of living space, lots of character. It's right next to the Matacumbe Resort.
Mm-hmm.
They have pool privileges across the way. And if you need room for a big group of people, or you just like big spaces, this house has got it all for you. Give me a call and I'll take you through there. Got several other homes in the area, and I don't mean to sound condescending, but in the 7s to 9s price range, 6 to 9s, that's fairly modest in
For the Keys, right? Yeah.
market.
Yeah.
It's lower priced up in Key Largo and lower priced in Layton, and then prices are varied down in Marathon. My other property that I'd like to highlight today is 198 Biscayne Boulevard.
Okay.
198 Biscayne Boulevard is what I call an executive Keys home. It is absolutely stunning. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, a garage that you can eat off the floor in.
I've been to that house.
Dramatic.
Our conditioning garage.
Inside, it's almost spiritual because the dramatic ceiling, it goes straight up, and then the whole backside of the house is facing the Grand Canal. There we go.
Yeah, let me put that on the screen. So, and I think that was just the price drop on that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I brought it down to $1,850,000. My seller will look at offers.
Okay.
There's literally nothing to do here.
And that privacy here.
Across the canal is a 55-acre palm plantation. In years past, we've called it the Parmalee Estate. Now, I know or have heard that it's just changed hands, and I'm not sure who the new owners are, but that will not affect the enjoyment of this home. But you have full garage, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. This community has a community beach. It's a private beach just for the owners. Also, one of the best boat ramps, and there's that main room.
Yeah.
In the dining room,
Gorgeous kitchen.
Top table. And then the outside balconies are just as nice as the inside. I hope it makes it over to a couple of those pictures. But give me a call and let me show you what good living is in the Florida Keys in Port Antigua. There's the Grand Canal taking you straight out to the beach, straight out to Channel 5. It is so perfectly located. One day you could be fishing for Spanish mackerel off of the yacht channel off Long Key. Next day you could be back in the backcountry looking for snook. Then under the bridge the next day looking for tarpon. Then headed out to the reef for yellowtail, the Tennessee Light. Then hit the canyons out there. Then they go to the 409. I mean, Lower Matacumbe and Upper Matacumbe basically, and Long Key, it's fishing nirvana.
Wow.
I mean, no matter what you want to do, they shoot the fishing shows for Sunday morning television right there.
Right there off that.
Channel 2 and Channel 5 is where the tarpon boys come down and shoot those television
So you're
shows.
right there. And here's, I have a little video of the house, so let's just play it real quick so people can have a little bit of an idea. Play again. Technical. All right. Still live? Still live? What up, Instagram? What up, Instagram? Make sure you follow our channels. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. We're all over. Wherever you are, come to The Real Keys with Keith Allen. Got our kitchen.
That's a chef kitchen. Three people get in there, work side by side, not touch. A wonderful dock out there. This pavilion, imagine having all of this outside dock. And then, according to shutters, you can light it at. And usually, commercial doesn't get people are weather.
Everything's updated. Bathrooms
Everything
updated.
is updated. This is gracious living.
Yeah, it's really a good property, and with the price drop. So make sure you want to see this property, get a hold of Keith Allen.
Port Antigua and Stella Maris, I think it's what is the actual community where Sea Lane is. They're both on Lower Matacumbe, right next to Channel 5 and Channel 2 for sunsets, for fishing. There's 2 restaurants on the island. Choices, one at the very top, one at the mid-range. And by all means, 1.85 is not at the very top, but that is at in the top echelon of the Port Antigua market.
Yeah. What's the range of Port Antigua? You go from base to
on Costa Brava Drive, there are bayfront homes in Port Antigua that can exceed $4 million, but most of the homes run between $1.1 million and $1.8 million. There are a few in there, the mid twos, but you can get your average 3-bedroom home in there for less than $2 million. 1.4 to 1.8 is a normal asking price, and who knows what you're going to get when you end up negotiating. Port Antigua's deed restrictions make it one of the more I'd say desirable communities, in the fact that it's one of the few deed restricted communities. And the only deed restriction that's really of significance to me, as far as I'm concerned, is it's masonry construction only. So you won't find engineered homes, you won't find mobile homes or frame construction.
Yes, yeah.
So the wind resistance factor is the highest in most cases that you're going to find in Port Antigua. Not to say that other communities that are zoned R1, R1M is R1 is residential single family masonry only. Most all other communities in Islamorada and Plantation Key, Key Largo, Long Key, Marathon, they're zoned R1. There are a couple of R1Ms communities, but Port Antigua thought forward and decided that they wanted the highest wind resistancy in the construction techniques in there. And it shows. The consistency of the home build in there is more so than you'll find in most other communities. Ergo, the tag cookie cutter, because some of them do look similar.
Sure.
But we don't come down here to do yard work and to mess around in the garden. Most of us don't. Some of us do.
Yeah.
We come down, take the groceries out of the car, put them in the refrigerator, and get in the boat.
You got it about.
Get
Now,
in the boat.
I'm going to tell you what's my favorite thing about Port Antigua. What's the mile marker that you turn in Puerto Rico?
74.5.
74.5 is right. You pass Robbie's, which is an institution in Florida Keys. We'll talk about Robbie's at some point here in the next couple of episodes. But you pass Robbie's, you go another 3 or 4 miles, you get to this. So right next to Port Antigua, right before you make the turn, mile marker 77, there is a guy there named George. You know George?
Mr. Lobster?
Yes. You can just walk from your house to this fish market that he has over there. He's been there for 50 years, and he was out of the business for a little while, and somebody was doing this. He just picked back over. You walk in there, and you buy fresh lobster caught that morning, delivered by the fisherman, and you walk back to your house.
If you get skunked, you don't have to tell anybody. You just, when you get home, you hop in a golf cart, because Port Antigua is a golf cart.
So you can go in a golf cart, yeah.
Ride your golf cart over there, pick up some fresh lobster, a couple of snapper, and maybe even a grouper if you're lucky, and then come back home, and people think you caught it.
That's the story. And then you can come to the live show here and say, "What did I just caught?"
I love to make my own conch chowder, and they carry conch chowder too from Key Largo Fisheries in I think it's a 1 pound bag, but it's perfect for one big batch of conch chowder, and I love conch chowder. Come down and visit with me, and you might get lucky.
You might get lucky. That might be a lunch meeting for the closing. We'll be right there with George and the conch chowder, and but that is just, you can do that pretty much in several places in the Keys, but that is just an experience that when I've done it, I discovered George about a year ago, and I was blown away. In fact, I was going to go on a boat. I'm actually working to go out when the next season comes up. I'm going to go on a lobster boat in the morning and film that whole thing. I think that's going to be pretty cool.
It's going to be a pretty long day.
It's going to be a pretty long day. In any case, thanks, everybody. I mean, unless you want to touch on something else today or leave the mystery for episode number 3.
Whatever you need, wherever you want to go, just give me a call.
Yeah.
We're here. We're ready to assist you in any way we can, whether it's in Key Largo or Key West or any point in between. All the island communities, Century 21 Island Life serves, and we serve it with a smile. We love to put people in paradise and their dreams together, and all you have to do is answer a few questions. And our professionals within the Century 21 group, we know the Keys. No one knows the Keys better, and we're seasoned. We've been around the block. Like I said, March 20th, that's my anniversary. Give me a call. Let's go out for anniversary drinks.
That sounds good.
But I'd love to help you, whether it's from Key Largo to Key West. Give me a call, 305-481-5544, or send me a note at TheRealKeys@bellsouth.net, REALKEYS @bellsouth.net, and I'll try to help you or answer your questions. And if you want to keep private for a while and just send me questions, I'm happy to send them to you. And I can also set you up a portal. We have portals within our multiple listing service, and I can set you up a portal that allows you to go directly in and see the MLS listings that I see every day.
That's
in
a
the
good
same
feature,
fashion, and it's real time, full time. So if you want to just go in and nose around and you're not quite sure what you want to do, I might want to see mobile homes in Lower Matacumbe or commercial properties in Key West, or if I want a condo at Key Largo, you can go.
How do they set up the portal? They email you, or they go
I
through?
send you an invitation, and you set up your, and it'll say, would you like to proceed, and you just
They send you an email?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm completely out of it. I can see what you go and look at, and I'll only contact you if you tell me you want to hear from me. And people use that, and they'll call me back and say, Keith, can you tell me more about this property in relationship to this property?
Sure.
You know, we start, and you can compare them. You can have your own comparative list, or the Zillows and the Realtor.coms, and they're all great, but there's nothing like having direct access. And when you use my website, TheRealKeys.com, the same thing has a portal. You can do the same thing, except mine is friendlier. It would just say condos under 500,000, condos under $1 million.
Easy navigable.
Yeah, it's a little more easily navigable. It's not as technical. but you can get as specific as you want to. Don't get too specific though, because if you narrow your focus in, it will exclude properties that simply based on the actual agent's ideas of when they put them in the system.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get pigeonholed. But,
Yeah.
And then when you really want to get serious, come at me. Just come at me with your list and say, I want to know about this one, this one, this one, this one, this one.
Yeah.
And,
That's a great feature. You know, when you start looking at things without getting into it yet, this portal, it's a great idea. You get these emails, you get to nose around, pick around, and then you can ask Keith, hey, tell me the difference between these two houses. And then when you come down here on your vacation or on a weekend here, your family's down here, you know, that's a perfect time to actually see those things together, because the main thing you don't want to be doing, you know, most of you that are coming to the Keys don't know that from Key Largo to Key West, it's about 135 miles. It's not something you can do like in a couple hours.
Actually, it's 107 from Key Largo.
From Key Largo, is that right?
Yeah.
But it's a long distance. It's a wide difference. I mean, you need a week of back and forth just to hit the main areas of the main neighborhoods. So spending some time in narrowing down and having that idea before you come in, the type of thing you want to do, the type of what you have, the type of activities, you have kids, no kids, you know, any of those things will make your life so much easier, less frustrating. And then, you know, on top of that, you know, if you're coming from a cash situation, obviously that's an easy deal. But if you need help with mortgage and financing, we have our partners that portfolio lending, FHA, conventional loan, it's all in-house, all within our system. It's just really a cool thing that we have going on in our life.
We have lenders, we have title companies, we have attorneys, we have surveyors, we have home inspectors, plumbers, air conditioners.
5 offices.
Yeah, 5 offices.
QS,
6 offices.
6 offices.
And I think last time we left off Sugarloaf.
We did.
Big Pine, Sugarloaf, 2 in Key West, Island Rock, and Key Largo.
And Key Largo, yeah.
And but I mean, you tell us where your concerns are, and we'll help you alleviate them, because we know who does what, and we know who does what competently.
Yes.
There's a lot of folks that come down to the Keys, and this is like the last stop. But
so many of those.
Trust me, the cream rises to the top.
Yeah.
And once you've been burned once or twice, you know who not to call.
Yeah.
Which is more important than knowing who to call.
Yeah.
And, but we have a nice group of tradespeople down here that are accomplished and will stand behind their work. And I have inspectors that I rely on because they find things that sellers don't know about. And I want to make sure that the integrity of the home product is of that nature where the buyer never has to look back over his shoulder. And I definitely don't want to look back over my shoulder. But the home's integrity is all we're interested in. Is it suitable for my needs?
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, everybody, if you're on Instagram, Facebook, make sure you follow the pages, click on subscribe, the bell, you get notifications when we push emails. Every week, we're pushing neighborhood videos on all the accounts that Keith has. We're pushing listings as well that you can see. And those are not just pictures. Those are videos that give you a much more in-depth look in these listings. You know, we're going to be doing pretty soon here restaurants, or we're going to showcasing some of these restaurants for you. We might be getting on a boat soon at some point, and you know, that's part of my deal.
Yeah, all my listings have aerial drone tours too.
Yes.
So when you're looking at the house, go to the video section, and it'll take you on a drone tour, so you can see how you come in and how you go out. And then, of course, we have the videos and the virtual tours on the inside. Sometimes they show too much. Sometimes they show too little.
Yeah.
The best way to see a house, though, is riding around in a car with me. Give me a call, 305-481-5544, or send me an email or text. My email, again, is realkeys@bellsouth.net, and my website is TheRealKeys.com. Easy enough to remember. You'll never forget when you come down here and spend a day or two with me.
You got it, everybody. Thanks very much, Keith. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
A little tear, a little toast here.
We're having fun yet?
Having fun, yeah. All right, everybody. You have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Be blessed. Goodbye. All right.